So this is hilarious, guys. Mainstream news outlets like BBC are so irrelevant these days that we're getting a headline here from the Irish Times. YouTube could be forced to promote British public service TV content. UK media regulator Office of Communications warns that networks such as BBC and Channel 4 are quote unquote endangered as viewers move online. People aren't watching this slop anymore, guys. That these poor mainstream news outlets are endangered. We need help. We need YouTube to put this on everyone's homepage. And for those who haven't been keeping up with all of the news, Ofcom over in the UK has been one of the organizations at the very forefront of facilitating all of the recent internet censorship and surveillance via the UK's Online Safety Bill, which threatens online privacy, security, and free speech, all under the guise of protecting the children. And according to Ofcom, if a website estimates your age incorrectly and thinks you're a minor, you would then be required to prove that you're an adult by submitting your personal information, such as a facial scan or your banking information or your credit card information or other digital wallet. Yeah, that totally doesn't sound like a recipe for disaster. And I saw a meme the other day that was just perfect about all that's going on. I really should have saved this thing because I can't find it now, but it went something like this. Using the internet in 2005. Never submit any of your personal information online. Using the internet now. Send your facial scan and banking info, blah, 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 etc., to use the internet. And it's pretty scary that that's where things are going. But that aside, at least now we can laugh at Ofcom trying to get YouTube to promote these endangered mainstream news outlets like BBC. The article goes on to say, digital platforms such as YouTube could be forced to make programs from UK public service television channels prominent to protect endangered networks such as BBC and Channel 4, according to the British media watchdog Ofcom. Ofcom on Monday said there needed to be prominence and discoverability for content from public service broadcasters on the online platforms that audiences increasingly use. It added that in particular it was critical that the public service broadcasters and YouTube work together to ensure that PSB content is prominent on its service and on fair commercial terms. Ofcom said the government should consider whether this needs to be underpinned by legislation to give statutory backing to PSB content on YouTube, especially news and children's programs. If no action is taken, the very existence of the PSBs will be threatened. Time is running out to save this pillar of UK culture and way of life, the regulator said. Above that, they also went on to talk about how more people these days are using platforms such as YouTube, Netflix, and TikTok, as opposed to traditional television viewing, and that this is why their views are down so much. But as we all know, there's more to it than that as well. And this is not specifically a UK thing, but people all across the world are largely sick of mainstream news outlets and journalists. They have eroded public goodwill. They have lost the people's trust. And so people don't watch them anymore, and their viewership plummets. And now Ofcom's over here telling us that we need to be so worried about these endangered networks. And oh, YouTube, won't you please help? If no action is taken, the very existence of the PSBs will be threatened. Time is running out to save this pillar of UK culture and way of life, the regulator said. Speaking of the UK, this was also crazy. Saw this tweet from Pirate Nation saying, "You're a terrorist in the UK if you think Western culture is under threat from mass migration." According to this image, which claims to be from gov.uk, we've got a list of terrorist ideologies, extreme right-wing, and highlighting here cultural nationalism, saying Western culture is under threat from mass migration and a lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. And apparently being concerned about this makes you an extreme right-wing terrorist. We've already talked multiple times about how the UK has this elite police squad that they made to monitor social media activity, specifically to monitor posts that criticize the government's policies on immigration. And I made a video 2 days ago talking about a testimonial from a woman who was a victim of terrible things that migrants had done to her and a number of girls between age 12 and 16 in Telford. And that when she was speaking out about this stuff, the police actually went to her door to, in my opinion, it came off like they were essentially trying to intimidate her into silence. Yeah, instead of going after the perpetrators of these disgusting crimes, they were going after her to silence her from talking about this stuff, but good for her. She didn't remain silent. She did go on to talk about this stuff. So, I mean, hopefully nothing happens to her, but yeah, that's how concerning this all is, that you would even need to be concerned about something happening to her for speaking out about this, instead of, as mentioned, the police supporting her and supporting the victims and protecting them. In other news, 3 days ago, the BBC made an article titled Most Popular Boys and Girls Names of 2024 revealed, going on to say that Muhammad retained its place as the most popular boy's name with 5,721 babies given the name. It was ranked first in 5 of 9 regions in England and came in 57th in Wales. We are talking about England here, right? I read that right. England, most popular boy's name right now for babies is Muhammad. Okay, yeah, just wanted to be sure I read that right. That takes us to the next part of the video. First, a little bit of context as we revisit this tweet from UK Labour politician Peter Kyle. We talked about this the other day, but he had said, if you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators. It is as simple as that. And the gaslighting here is off the charts. I mean, what a terrible thing to say. He gets community noted as well and says, since coming into force, Online Safety Act has blocked/restricted censored content that wasn't what the act was for. This includes immigration, parliament debates. Wikipedia is challenging the categorization rules as the act will mean tough restrictions on the site. These were his initial comments. Let's watch this 50-second clip and then I'll tie this all together. Thank you for your patience.
This is the biggest step forward in child safety since the internet was created. There is, since Friday last week, children and parents will notice the difference in the experience that children have. Most children do not go looking for harmful and dangerous and pornographic content. Most children actually have found that the content has come to find them. That's why we've acted so decisively in this. And for everybody who's out there thinking of using VPNs, let me just say to you directly, verifying your age keeps a child safe, keeps children safe in our country. So let's just not try and find a way around. Just prove your age, make the internet safer for children, make it a better experience for everyone. That's surely what we should aspire to in this country.
Okay, with that context, that takes us over to Politico and an article that they wrote titled Britain's MPs, that being members of parliament, aka politicians, charge VPNs to expenses as minister urges caution. What this means is that, oh, and they say here, actually, look at this. Technology Secretary Peter Kyle appeared to suggest that VPN use could put children at risk. But like I was saying, what this means is that British politicians are telling people not to use VPNs. Meanwhile, they are actually using VPNs, and not just that, they're putting the expenses, the cost of the VPN use, on taxpayer dollars. So they tell the citizens, don't do this thing, while they do it, and they get the citizens to pay for it. And I get this part. They go on to say it's not surprising that lawmakers use VPNs given they handle highly sensitive information daily. So yeah, of course you want such information to be protected and you want these precautions to be taken, but my gosh, does it not come off hypocritical? It's like they're happy to use VPNs and get the benefits of those VPNs, but how dare the people that they're supposed to be working for, by the way, how dare the people use VPNs? Oh, we can't have that. Anyways, I'll leave it there, guys. There is still a lot more to talk about, but I'll save that for the next video, which should be tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Please consider liking and or subscribing if you enjoyed my coverage, and I look forward to seeing you in the comments here and in the next one.